Good morning. Welcome to day number 6. A little after 8 in the morning. It is Saturday morning. Kind of a compressed campground, at least where I was. So people were a little bit on top of one another the whole night. That's pretty over here. Another gorgeous day. I've been so lucky this trip with the weather. There's a lookout that's ahead here, 16 kilometers, that I'm going to stop at quickly. So that's my next stop. There we go. Just to pull over and take a picture. It's called Look Off. That's Nova Scotia, at least from this side. Blue skies are gone, long gone. The line of clouds has moved over. About 17 kilometers to go to a lighthouse is my next stop. When I turned the corner back there, took a right after the corner I heard a piece of metal go flying and could see it in my rearview mirror, and I thought, well, I didn't see that like I hit it, so I stopped my bike to make sure that it wasn't part of my bike. Well, it was part of my bike. Back when I bought this Suzuki, I put some grips on the foot pegs and the screws. There's 2 screws on each foot peg, and my guess is what's happened over all the tens of thousands of miles of riding is that those screws loosened up and eventually fell out, and then I took a little pressure off the foot peg and the grip went flying off. So I recovered the grip. The 2 screws are missing, and I'll have to see if I can find something at a hardware store to replace them. A gentleman stopped by because I was probably 100 yards ahead of where the piece fell off, and I didn't turn the bike around. Not know exactly what the part was that fell off. It was vital. I didn't want to be messing with the bike anymore. So I walked back, and the gentleman stopped by to check on me, make sure I was okay. Seeing a helmeted motorcycle rider walking forlornly along the road. So it looks like I'm going to go onto gravel. Based on that sign. There's the gravel. It's a little lighthouse. It's got its welcome sign though. Black Rock Light. This little promontory. So this is the right foot peg. You can see the 2 fasteners there, and that's the plate that fell off on the left side. So I will see if I can get a replacement set of screws for that. Maybe take the one off on the right side when I get to a hardware store, take it in with me. I can match it. Continue my way south. There's a lighthouse at Margarettsville, which is my next stop. Route 221 headed southwest. Margarettsville. Guess it's straight. There it is. Route 362 headed towards Digby. Just stopped for fuel, service a chain. I've got 66,613 miles on this bike. So assuming that I do it every 600 miles, I have serviced the chain 111 times since I've owned this bike. This is my 4th chain that I'm on. I replace it every 20,000 miles or so. The Annapolis River. Little town of Annapolis, Royal. Tiny little lighthouse. It's 3 o'clock. Last hour or so I've been running in and out of rain showers, but it looks like it's cleared up quite a bit. I'm going to head south to Ellenwood Provincial Park, where I took a reservation for this evening. It's a little over an hour away, with a quick detour to Yarmouth to pick up some groceries. My Suzuki V-Strom just hit 66,666 miles since I bought it new. It's Route 101 south of Digby. The Evangeline Trail is what the sign indicates it's called. And it's cooled down, 64 degrees Fahrenheit. The cloud cover is not helping keep things warm. I got off the 101 and came over here to 1, which is right on the water. A little bit lower speed and get to see more things. Those are some serious fishing vessels. 21 kilometers to Yarmouth. Still on Route 1. Much better than the highway. Decided I had myself dinner here. Somewhere up here is a restaurant. Hopefully they're open. Rudders, I think that's it. Had seafood in Maine, but no seafood here, so I'm gonna get myself seafood dinner. So, for those of you who've been following me for the last few years, I did my Eastern Canada trip and came up the east side of Nova Scotia, from South Yarmouth all the way to the north end of it. And this trip I have done the west coast of Nova Scotia. So I basically have circumnavigated Nova Scotia on 2 different trips. It is 7:12 in the evening. I'm in Yarmouth, just had dinner. Good scallop dinner with Digby scallops, apparently world famous according to what Digby says. They were actually very good. Ellenwood Lake Provincial Park. Good morning. Day number 7, 6:35 in the morning. And I'm headed down to pick up the ferry at 8:30. I need to be down there. Hope to stop at the grocery and grab something to eat before I get on the ferry. And breaking camp right now. So weather's supposed to be good today here down in Bar Harbor where I'm headed. It's supposed to be rain in the afternoon, so we'll see how that goes. Got 1 hour to get to the grocery store and in line for boarding the ferry. So a little bit tight on time, but not too bad. Gentleman stopped by my camp this morning and we ended up chatting for a while. He's from Nova Scotia. I was a school teacher for many years. Really nice guy. He actually gave me a laser printed Christmas ornament made of wood as a memento for Nova Scotia, so it's quite nice. I'll try to take a picture of it. I tell you, I do love motorcycling, especially motorcycle camping. It's for me the way to go. When the weather's good, it's really hard to beat, and the freedom that it gives. Leave when I want to leave, stop when I want to stop, go where I want to go. It's a very selfish form of travel, but it's great in terms of the freedom that it brings. Always run into friendly people, regardless of whether it's somewhere in the United States or Canada or New Zealand. People are people wherever you go. It doesn't really matter. Well, that was quick. presented my papers and director right on board. And as always, I'm glad it's dry. Thank you.
All the way down.
This looks a little familiar. I've done this before.
The high-speed ferry between Nova Scotia and Maine is amazingly fast, reaching a top speed of 43 knots, can carry 200 cars and over 800 passengers.
And off we go. Gotta clear U.S. Customs first. 3? Alright, so I gotta shut this off while I clear customs. Back in the US of A. Time is it? 11:53. We left early from Nova Scotia and got in early. So it's supposed to rain a little up here mid-afternoon, but I think the further south I go, the clearer the weather gets, so there's some small possibility of rain tonight. Well, I was riding Interstate 95 and running in and out of heavy rain showers. They didn't last for very long, but when they hit hard. So it started to get uncomfortable, and then the GPS started adding time dramatically because of slowdowns going into New Hampshire. So I decided to get off. I'm kind of cutting my own path here, heading southwest across the state right now. And what do I stumble on but Route 202. Well-trodden path, at least down in Connecticut. So let me get on that for a while. It's going to take me fairly close to where my home is, albeit slow. Just crossed into New Hampshire. Old Man of the Mountain. I saw that in real life before it collapsed. It's absolutely gorgeous how it looked like the profile of an old man. And I forgot how long ago it was, 20 years ago. The whole thing collapsed. They had it on all the state signs, and they still do, even though it no longer exists. Well, made it through New Hampshire. Now through into Massachusetts. Back into Connecticut. Traffic's been terrible. I've been in and out of rain showers, although I think it's finally gone. And it is taking me a long time to get home today. I'm still not there.
Now that I'm back in Connecticut, it's time to start planning my next trip. So until then, this is Paul Zig, signing off.